when he signed his card, he was in the top 10 for what would have been the 19th consecutive tournament. Instead, after closing at 11 under par, he tied for 12th. That snapped the streak of 18 straight tournaments he had finished in the top 10. Here's our Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question. We have one for you every single time. And we wonder your proudest moment of the Olympics. Proudest moment. And that is, or maybe we can revise it a little bit to just the hockey game. All right. Best player for Team USA. How about best Michigander? Would that work? Connor Hellebuck.
I like that.
Zach Werenski, Jack Hughes, Quinn Hughes. As much as I like Dylan Larkin, and he was on the ice for that final goal, that golden goal. He was on the ice. He peeled back. It was a good interview with Dylan Larkin. He peeled back because it's 3-on-3. So what you got to do is you got to make sure that you don't give up a 2-on-0 the other way. And what happened? He peels back, which is smart. That is the way you're supposed to do it, right? But he, as much as I love him and as important as he was, and he was important in Team USA's push toward gold, he was as important as maybe any other forward. But when you've got Jack Hughes making the play to win it all, you've got Quinn Hughes, who I believe led their team in scoring, and you've got Connor Hellebuck doing what he's done with the 41 saves. It's tough to – and Zach Werenski had the assist. He's the one that made that push into the offensive zone, fought off Nathan McKinnon, and then twirled and fed Jack Hughes for the victory. So there you go. And, granted, the Hughes brothers, again, they weren't born in the state of Michigan, but they grew up in the state of Michigan. So can we claim them? A friend of mine,
yes,
my wife's cousin from out in Massachusetts, texted me last night and said, Hellebuck did go to UMass Lowell. So I guess there's part of it. I said, that's a real stretch. That is a massive stretch. I said, take credit for Matt Boldy. You can do that. He's from Massachusetts. I said, but Connor Hellebuck grew up, played AA hockey, never played AAA because parents couldn't afford for him and his brother to both play the same sport, and one of them play at the highest level like that, which was a really good story during the broadcast.
Great story, yeah.
But Connor Hellebuck is from here. He was born here. He was rooted here. He played all his hockey, his life, except until he got to college here. So there's a little bit of a difference there. I know you would like to extend it and say he's ours. That's a tough thing to do. I've had that debate with Michigan State fans about Nick Foles. Just hold on a second, okay? We'll all find a way to reach for our guy, which is great. It's fine. You're reaching for the guy after he's already won something.
Yeah,
while he was in the process, it's not necessarily somebody you bring up right away. So I think you got to be really careful when it comes to that. So I'm not saying that I put him in his place, but I did kind of remind him that is and then he said, all right, fair enough.
Well, so, I get this poll question up, Shep, how are we going to phrase this? Are we going to say?
We'll do this, the most impressive Michigander in the Olympics. You know what? Let's do it this way. How about we do it this way? Let's do it Connor Hellebuck. Let's do it Zach Werenski. Let's do the female gold goal winner, Megan Keller, or other. You could do it that way.
Okay.
Or unless you want to put Jack Hughes, you could put Jack Hughes, I suppose.
No, other's fine, because if we put Jack Hughes, people would be like, why didn't you put Quinn Hughes?
Yeah, that way you can fall in line with Quinn Hughes,
yes.
Jack Hughes, Dylan Larkin, for example. No one's putting Kyle Connor, unfortunately, which is still one of the tougher things. You see the guys who weren't playing in the last few games, and I don't know if it motivates them. So I saw them put the gold medal around Kyle Connor's neck. He did play early in the tournament, but didn't play with enough quote unquote jam in hockey. That's important. And you're going to need that against teams like Sweden and Canada. So he did not play against Sweden. He did not play against the Slovaks, and he did not play against Canada. And that has to hurt for sure. However, maybe it also motivates him that different parts of your game need to evolve. Different parts of your game have to get strengthened because for that type of style, now it may work for his team, Winnipeg, and the National Hockey League, but it's not working on the international stage when you're playing against those teams. So I thought, there was a part of me that felt really bad for him, but there's also a part of me that hopes, hey, listen, you hope you learn from it. The other thing is I can't help but wonder how many young kids were watching that, much like in 1980, because my wife asked me, what was the more important win, that win over Canada or the win over Russia? And I said, it's not even close, the win over Russia. 46 years ago, it's the win over Russia. Why? Because it kickstarted things. Okay, the country hadn't won a gold since 1960. Okay, and Team USA finally wins in 1980. It's not like we've got this long history of gold medal hockey winning teams. Okay, USA has been really good in certain aspects, skiing, figure skating, but not necessarily in hockey. Not that we were terrible. It's just that you're running into teams like Sweden, like Russia, like Canada. And I saw where a lot of people in Russia, a lot of players from Russia were saying it's not truly the best of the best if Russia's not included. Well, there's nothing Team USA can do about that. That's the Olympic Committee. There's nothing Team USA can do about that. They have to play who is in their path. And they did it, and they did it to perfection, okay? Because they were not beaten. So that's a moot point right now. You could talk about it, what if, but all the what ifs. Oh, what if the Lions had played fill in the blank in the Super Bowl? It doesn't matter because it didn't happen and it wasn't possible. This was not possible. But the 1980 team paved that way for a lot of young kids. This team here, I would guess, has paved a way for young kids as well. There's so many young American kids who love that sport or maybe are just starting to play the sport that have been inspired by what that team just did. So really cool stuff. Unbelievable moment, and feel fortunate that you were able to witness it. Our phone number, by the way, on the Meyer hotline is 866-838-4843. You can text us, Sports Radio 21,000. Quick timeout. We're brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth here on a Monday morning.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and educational programs that are helping the Parkinson's community, just like Mitch Lyons Wealth helps improve the quality for their clients' retirements. This center helps improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
And Gibby, the best part of all is that access to the center is available to the Parkinson's community free of charge, right?
That's right, absolutely free of charge for people with Parkinson's and their care partners.
You hit a couple of the most famous home runs in Major League history, Gibby, but I feel that your greatest hit will be the positive impact the Kirk Gibson Center is making in the fight against Parkinson's.
Mitch, since my diagnosis, I get up every day and focus on winning that day. This center encourages others to do the same.
Awesome, Gibby. To learn more, go to kirkgibsoncenter.org.
Hey, when you travel, you want low fares, you want reliable service, and you want a direct flight. Avelo Air gives you all of that and more. Avelo Air has direct flights to take Tigers fans to spring training in Lakeland. Avelo Air will take you from Grand Rapids to Lakeland directly on Thursdays and Sundays. They will take you directly from Detroit to Lakeland on Wednesdays and Saturdays. You literally land 20 minutes from the ballpark. You don't have to wait in lines. You don't have to worry about any of that other hassle. This is hassle-free travel like you deserve. Go to AveloAir.com and get $20 off a base fare round-trip flight to Lakeland when you book your trip by March 31st. All you have to do is use the code HUGE. That HUGE on AveloAir.com. Restrictions do apply. See AveloAir.com for details today.
Thanks for tuning in to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard, only on the Michigan Sports Network.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
we were so close. It felt like a family, and I was able to room with Jack for the 2 weeks or whatever it was, and it was very special for me. And right across the hall with the Tkachuk's, and they left their door open the entire 2 weeks. They never closed it. And just to have all the guys there on the same floor was special. And we'd always hang out in the cafeteria together and meet different athletes and whatnot. And to me, spending time in the village with these guys, it was one of my favorite experiences of this whole thing. And whether we stayed in the village or not, you still got to go out there and perform. But for me, I really enjoyed the village.
That's Jack Hughes, who had the game-winning goal in the gold medal game, thwarting everybody's expectations in Canada. And that might have been the most beautiful aspect of the whole thing, but not something that everybody realizes. If you look back and you've watched any of TSN or you've watched any of CBC, and it's good. I mean, CBC's broadcast is phenomenal. It is. It's epic. When you've got, at least from a play-by-play standpoint, when you get a guy who's there's the game-winning goal and he lets it breathe, it was fantastic. So, and if you can, go back and watch that. It was good. It was really, really good. But there are so many storylines to what this game was really all about. And, of course, if you look at the anniversary, which is front and center, why more people didn't expect Team USA to win just from the stars aligning, I don't know, because I didn't expect it. I expected a really tough game. I expected a really close game. I found it really hard for Team USA to beat a team like Canada when they have as much talent as they did. I mean, I want you to think about their first line. Now, Sidney Crosby was hurt. Didn't play in the game. Didn't play in the semifinals either. But I thought there might be a chance that he does come back. And he said afterwards, when people interviewed him, he said, look, I was close. I was close to coming back. Their first line is Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, and Macklin Celebrini. Their second line is centered by Nathan McKinnon. Okay, you've got Mitch Marner on that team. You've got Cale Makar on that team. You got Devon Toews on that team. They ooze greatness.
Stacked.
They have the three best players in the world on that team. You could argue the four best players in the world, and at some point, Celebrini might be eventually the best player in the world, even though he says his younger brother is even better than he is, which should scare the hell out of people. But it's the anniversary, right, of the Miracle on Ice, and that's a storybook narrative, all right? But here's the other thing that people, including yours truly, didn't take into account. As Bill Guerin said, when he first picked the team and everybody wondered, where's Jason Robertson at? Where's Cole Caulfield at? You're missing certain players. He goes, I'm not building an all-star team. I'm building a gold medal Olympic team. That's really important to keep in mind. While we all look at up and down the various categories, goals, points, assists, plus, minus, all these things. Not that they're not important, but how guys can come together, how guys play with one another while on the ice, all is as important as anything else that he put together. When Jack Hughes, the reason I bring this up is because Jack Hughes coming back from break, what does he say? Being in the Olympic Village, the willingness to set aside egos is really important in a situation like this. While many would say, I want to go live outside the village. I don't want to be among commoners. Why would I want to be around a snowboarder who I've never met? I don't know who the top figure skating pairing is. Why would I want to be in the same village as them? Well, as Jack Hughes later pointed out, we're around elite athletes, picking their brains, getting a chance to get to know them. How many other people or sports do that? I mean, somebody had a really good, it wasn't a meme, but it was a little good thread on social media yesterday where Jack Hughes takes a stick to the face. He loses 2 teeth, 1.5, stays in the game, scores the game-winning goal, does an interview afterwards. He's got blood all around his mouth. It's dried blood around his mouth. And then they show Anthony Davis trying to set a screen like this with his hands to his chest. He gets hit on the hand and he gives up on the play. They show a spot of, sorry, Trent, LeBron James flopping all over the place. He gets so-called fouled, and he's lying down on the ground, writhing in pain and taking himself out. But you have Jack Hughes staying in the game and delivering soon thereafter. It's phenomenal.
USA hockey, man. Let's go.
Just hockey in general, I think.
Yeah, the sport, for sure.
So when you get that back, and I get it, Canada is historically the better hockey nation. We get all that. And they outshot the U.S., 41-26, dominated the second and third periods. But there are certain aspects of the game that have to get highlighted. And Connor Hellebuck and his play and the grit that Team USA played with, but the roster makeup of that team. And it's funny because before the Olympics, everybody was ripping on why Bill Guerin, who put the team together, and he's the general manager of the Minnesota Wild, why he picked who he picked. After the Olympics, everybody is questioning why Canada picked who they picked. How did you not take Connor Bedard? How is that possible? Why are you taking this player instead of that player? And from some people's sources, it's been reported that Sidney Crosby didn't like the fact that Connor Bedard wouldn't play in the World Championship. So there was a bit of a rift there. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but that's kind of what it was. So there's a few things that you look at. And as I mentioned before, Charlie McAvoy clearing the puck off the goal line with his glove on the Devon Tays shot was as important a moment as there was. While so much is highlighted, and I get it because Hellebuck's save was incredible, the goal was amazing, and a signature moment, and a moment that is going to be entrenched in our lives for a long, long time. If you remember the Miracle on Ice, and you remember Mike Eruzione scoring and then dancing afterwards and the celebration of Jack O'Callahan and all that other stuff before they had to go play Finland for gold. And that's the thing that needs to be oftentimes hammered home to you because so many people automatically felt like, well, I mean, they beat Russia. That was it. No, you still had to come from behind to beat Finland to win gold. The win over Russia doesn't mean nearly as much if you don't win gold against Finland. The various things from this game, what will be remembered? Of course, Jack Hughes, the American flag over his shoulder, him waving to his parents in the stands and missing over, one full tooth, 1.5 teeth. You got Connor Hellebuck with the flag draped around his shoulders, very similar to Jim Craig in 1980 while he's skating around. But don't forget the Charlie McAvoy play. Please don't forget the block and the steering of a side of an open shot by Connor Hellebuck. And let's not forget Nathan McKinnon missing a wide open net. Those are pretty important moments that led Team USA to a 2-1 win in overtime. Now, this will be a little bit later on, hero and heels for me. But the whole complaint about the 3-on-3 format is, I think, comical. And the reason I think it's comical is because, and it was obviously coming from where? It's coming from Canada. All right. It's coming from John Cooper, the head coach. That it's really
whoever loses, right?
Of course.
Whoever loses
it's really
is
not hockey. There's a reason they don't do it in the Stanley Cup playoffs. There's
Yeah.
a reason they don't do it in the Stanley Cup finals. I get it. All right. But you knew that was the format going in. You put the best 3 players in the world on the ice at the same time. You put Connor McDavid, you put Nathan McKinnon, and you put Cale Makar. There's no other 2 forwards you would rather have in the world, not just the National Hockey League. There's no other 2 forwards in the world you would rather have than Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon.
Correct.
Why? Well, all you got to do, if you're into statistics, nobody has more points in the league than Connor McDavid. Nobody has more goals in the league than Nathan McKinnon. And the best defenseman in the world is Cale Makar. And it's really, most people would say it's not really close. Now, you could argue that because I've said this for a long time. Quinn Hughes, I said this when he was traded from Vancouver to Minnesota. I said he's the second best defenseman in the world. Second best to Cale Makar, who, by the way, was on the ice when Matt Boldy scored. Matt Boldy went right by him. Okay. Makar got caught flat-footed. So he was a -1 there. And then he was on the ice when Jack Hughes buried the golden goal.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to blame Cale Makar because he was a little late on the back check.
No, but it has to get brought up. You're right.
But it needs to be delivered that way. Nathan McKinnon was a minus. And it's ironic. He leads the league in plus minus with a plus 48. It's not that I wouldn't take him. I'd take him any single day of the week. He's unbelievable. Although I heard he's not the greatest guy in the world. Whatever. Okay. I mean, that comes from my son's friend who played in the Colorado system. He's not going to talk to you. They told him as he was going through training camp, don't even approach Nate. He's not going to talk to you. Okay. Whatever. Doesn't mean that he's not a great player because he is. He's a phenomenal player.
But in that spot.
But in that spot, when you're trying to tell me here that this is a situation that you're going to bitch about of 3-on-3, and you don't like that type of format, and you've got the 3 best players in the world, and it's not like Jordan Binnington is, a doorknob here. Jordan Binnington's a really good goalie.
He was excellent yesterday.
Okay.
For as good as Hellebuck was, I mean, more shots on goal and everything, but I thought Binnington was just as good.
Yeah, I don't know if
maybe not just as good,
but I mean, he wasn't the reason they lost.
Correct.
I could tell you that.
Yes.
2 5-hole goals may be one thing, but he's trying to kick his leg out, and Hughes has got him on the left-hand side.
He had his fair share of very good saves. Yeah.
They went undefeated too, getting to the gold medal game. And he was in net for all of their games. He was their number one, the number one goalie on the number one team in the world. And you're trying to, don't give me this crap that he's not good enough, because he was plenty good enough.
Yeah.
But you see this situation here, and you see why Team USA was able to be successful. And they do it with a lot of different ways that maybe aren't going to dazzle you. If you want to use the term lunch bucket, if you want to use the term of dirty goals and all that other stuff, that's fine. Other teams will look at that and say, not true. The U.S. team is super talented. It's just when you compare them to what Canada puts out on the ice, everybody was wondering, how in the world could this be happening, right? So you've got all kinds of epic moments, epic pictures, and it has everybody talking. And this is when hockey needs to take advantage of it. You've got all these different things associated with the sport where you are riding momentum from the Four Nations tournament a year ago, momentum from hockey this year in men's and women's in this country. And it brought you a sense of pride not felt in a long, long time. I tweeted this out. Grown men, and I originally thought about, it's millionaires, but it's grown men playing this game, and they're acting like 8-year-olds after they win. Where other sports are you seeing that in? You're seeing that in the World Series for one team, but you're seeing this on the national stage where these guys, on the world stage, I should say, where these guys are acting like it's their first win in mini mites. And they can't wait to go to breakfast with their dads after the game. It was awesome. Let me get to a text. Freddie's always reliable for us. Hope he enjoyed the weekend. Hope he enjoyed the entire event. I would guess he would. Here's what he writes. He says, besides the win, what I took out of it, it felt like watching hockey in the 80s when hockey was my favorite sport, and watching Channel 9 on a Saturday night. Boy, that's well said. Other things that you could take out of it, as you look on the Canadian faces of getting silver, they look pissed. They look upset. Major competitors, unlike NBA players, who high-five each other even after getting stomped by 55 points. Well, I don't think, in fairness to the NBA, that doesn't happen after a finals series. It may happen after a game number 56, but it doesn't happen after a finals series. That line for Canada yesterday made me think back when I was watching Gretzky, Messier, and Bossy. Yeah, I know. That was – and then you've got all these great, unbelievable players backing him up that would be the number one player on most of the teams. Adding the Gaudreau kids to the picture was priceless. If you weren't tearing up at that, I don't know how deep you have in your soul that would create any type of emotion.
That was cinema. That was perfect.
For Dylan Larkin and Zach Werenski to go get Johnny Gaudreau's 2 kids and bring them into the picture. And then for Matt Tkachuk to take his jersey that they immediately grabbed after they won. They immediately grabbed the jersey and they brought it out.
Yeah, they had it planned. Yeah.
Yeah. And because it was in the locker for the entire tournament. Because Johnny Gaudreau would have been on that team.
For sure.
He would have been on the Four Nations team. He would have been on this team.
Absolutely.
He was killed in a car accident by a drunk driver while he was riding a bike with his brother the weekend of his sister's wedding 2 years ago. Okay, in case people were wondering, Johnny Gaudreau was a phenomenal player, assistant, if not captain of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and one of the better American players. So they take the picture on the ice, and then right afterwards, and you get choked up just thinking about it. Matthew Tkachuk, with the American flag draped around his shoulder, takes the Johnny Gaudreau jersey and skates closer toward one side of the stands. Dylan Larkin and Zach Werenski had skated off the ice, gone up there, and went and motioned for them to bring down Johnny Gaudreau's 2 children so they could get a picture on the ice
with Team USA,
with gold medals around their necks, and Team USA and those 2 kids, one draped over the knee of Dylan Larkin, the other on the lap of Zach Werenski.
Great stuff.
And I don't know if there's a better picture I've ever seen in sports, quite honestly, than that. And that is not staged. That is something that comes from the heart. That is something, because those guys loved that player so much, enjoyed that player so much, had so much respect for that player and his parents and his entire family, that they made sure those kids will remember their father in that way. And to me, it symbolizes everything that sport, that team, and what this country, I hope, gets back to is all about. It was special. It really was. And listening to those guys talk about representing their country and talking about Johnny Gaudreau says it all. If you missed any of it, go back and find it. Phone number of the Meijer Hotline is 866-838-4843. Lots to discuss here on a Monday morning with you. We're brought to you on this first hour by Mitch Lyons Wealth.
You've worked hard for decades saving in pre-tax retirement plans like 401ks and IRAs, saving on taxes now. But as your retirement now approaches, you're going to get taxed at rates you have no control over. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Your 401k balance isn't worth what your statement says. You could lose thousands of dollars to taxes, and those distributions can impact other areas of your retirement like Social Security and Medicare. Could a Roth IRA conversion be of help to you? You've probably heard of Roth conversions, but it can be confusing. Should you convert all at once or over time? Where should you pay the taxes from? How do you know for sure? Get our free personalized Roth Blueprint analysis today to find out exactly what makes sense for you. Your Roth Blueprint could potentially increase your lifetime wealth by thousands of dollars. So get your free Roth Blueprint today. Text Blueprint to 844-867-8335. That's Blueprint to 844-867-8335. Or go to MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
Ferris Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Ferris Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI ThePizzaMan.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
You can text us, Sports Radio 21,000. Welcome back on a Monday, a golden Monday after golden goals over the weekend to give Team USA the men's and the women's hockey championships. And that's our poll question regarding those Michiganders that are closely associated with it. And you can vote as often as you want at XB Mornings. I've retweeted it as well. The golden goal from Jack Hughes, Connor Hellebuck in net. 41 saves, should have been MVP. Instead, it went to Connor McDavid. And then, of course, Megan Keller, who's from Farmington Hills, her golden goal, which Michiganders delivered the most clutch. Feel free, vote as often as you want, or other at XB Mornings. It was just, it's tough to pick, quite honestly, because of how great all of them were. And I'm going to see that over and over and over again. So are you. You're going to see that on, I don't care if it's a sports show, a news show, it could be a weather show, for crying out loud. You're going to see that epic moment over and over and over again. And you're going to see that picture. How many people want that picture up in their man cave?
In the man cave. Yep, absolutely. My buddies and I were saying the same thing. We're all buying it.
Absolutely. And rightfully so.
It's a framer.
It is a framer, without question. So it's one of the more proud moments that you have. There were plenty of emotional moments. I love what Mike Sullivan said on his team. He said, look, there are whiskey drinkers and there are milk drinkers. We had a lot of whiskey drinkers. And I thought from a quote standpoint, that's
as good as it gets. Yeah.
Yeah. That's as epic as you can get, you know? So in the end, and I'm not afraid to admit I was wrong. There were plenty of people wrong. Okay. If you go back, it was great. If you watched any of the coverage on Team Canada as they were building this up. All right. Because it's always good to get that perspective. We get locked into NBC, move over and see what somebody else might be saying. Sometimes you get more of a balanced opinion from somebody who has watched your team in a different way. Okay. So the mantra from the Canadian perspective, I can't necessarily say it's always out in left field, because I think a lot of people felt this way around the world, not just in Canada, was that, look, when you've got the names that Canada is putting out there, they're going to win. But there were a lot of people who were, again, you know how I feel about the word, disrespecting. I mean, it's just used constantly for people, and it really isn't necessary. But the disrespect, I think they showed Team USA, like they are going to just pound them. Like the U.S. doesn't have anybody. There was a guy hosting a show in Canada who said, really, like, we're afraid of JT Miller? JT Miller's a pretty good two-way center.
Yeah, you should be.
And then they said, well, I don't think they should.
You can't take him lightly.
Right. They're acting like this guy is coming out of nowhere.
Right.
They said, well, the Kachucks can fight. Big deal. Well, it's not that they can fight. It's the fight. It's the fact that they're willing to fight.
Well,
so
if that's their reputation,
all,
though, too,
I think their reputation is that they fight because of the Four Nations situation.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like people just went on social media.
They are, right, but who they are is a physical forward. I would guess every team in the National Hockey, they're not fast. They don't have these great shots. They're never going to lead the league in scoring,
but they're damn good hockey
players. League in points. But you know what they are? They're a very good power forward. They're not as good as their father in scoring goals, but what they're a physical presence who do the things that not everybody is willing to do. And that's why you should want them.
Yeah.
Now, there are other more skilled players. You notice, I mean, if you watch the lines for Team USA, it's not like there was a lot of time on the ice for Matthew Tkachuk and Brady Tkachuk. All right. Dylan Larkin was right in the middle of those guys. All right. They're not Jack Eichel. Jack Eichel is a very good player. He's the best forward on Team USA outside of Austin Matthews. All right. So when Matthews, Eichel, the Tkachuks are certain roles. That's why I talked about how Bill Guerin built the team. He didn't build it with the highest point getters in the National Hockey League. What he did was he built it for certain moments. You better be able to play with some jam against a team like Canada. You're not going to outskill them. You don't have that in your toolbox. But what you can have is you can have some guys who wear on them a little bit. Why is it that Florida was so successful in winning back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Sandpaper.
If you remember watching all of those various mic'd up clips by Paul Maurice, and he says, I don't give a crap about scoring right now. Wear them down. You have to have guys who can skate on the back end, Werenski, Hughes, Slavin, and you have to have guys up front who can push, punish, and wear them down. And that's the reason he took certain guys. It wasn't because JT Miller will drop the gloves. If you drop the gloves in the Olympics, you miss the next game. That's not what it's about.
True.
It's about playing physical. So just to label them as fighters is really short-sighted. It's about the physical play, and it's about wearing players down below the goal line, in between the hashes, and along the sidewall. That's what it's about. And that's the reason they have those two guys on there. If they just wanted to go with the best point collectors in the National Hockey League, they would have taken certain other guys, okay? And maybe Canada would have too. Maybe Canada would have taken Mark Scheifele. I don't know. But I do know that guys like Jason Robertson was left off. There was probably Kyle Connor might have been the last guy taken. You can say what you want about. See, Jack Hughes can skate. Quinn Hughes can pilot and you could make the argument that he was the MVP considering how many minutes he played. He played more minutes than Cale Makar.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up too, because I saw that yesterday.
Played as many minutes as anybody else. And I know defensemen get that.
Yeah.
They're going to do that. Quinn Hughes he never seems to get tired. He skates like a forward. Zach Werenski skates like a forward. That's the reason I love those two guys. Those are the two guys outside of Cale Makar that you would want leading your defensive core because of how well they move the puck, how long they can play, how they can play in every single situation. And because of anytime Connor McDavid was out there, Quinn Hughes was out there. Why? Because he can skate with him. He's not as fast. He doesn't, nobody gets on their toes like Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon, but he knows how to play the angles. There are so many times during that game yesterday, Quinn Hughes is forcing either McKinnon or McDavid, and they were on the same line yesterday because Crosby was hurt, to turn a different way than he necessarily wanted to. It's the little things, the little angles that he plays with that really impress you if you're following that really closely. Phone number on the Meijer hotline, 866-838-4843. Great stuff. Another text, and it says, the look on McDavid's face to me said he lost the finals and now the gold medal and considered the best in the world, and it's wearing on him. Yeah, I can understand how you read into that for sure. Those guys, first of all, I have no idea. It's borderline embarrassing that each one of these guys was given a stuffed animal.
Oh, my goodness. No they couldn't have waited to do that in the locker room. Why? That was awful.
Every one of those is going in the trash.
I would have taken that and stomped on it right in front of everybody on TV.
I don't understand that. I mean, if you want to, maybe they give it to their kids. That could be a possibility.
Doubt it.
But
they want nothing to do with that.
Every guy gets it and looks at it like, what the hell am I supposed? These are grown men for crying out loud. To me, it made no sense whatsoever.
I was confused as well.
Yeah. The look on Nathan McKinnon's face, all of their faces was like, are you serious?
It was like a spit in the face.
It really was. And
here's your silver medal and here's your stuffed animal.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. A little beanie baby or whatever it's called. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible that they had to go through that. But what I don't know if you watched any of the closing ceremony. I started to watch a little bit of that. There weren't that many people there. So Team USA, I doubt was there either. Just loved how they locked arms around one another. The brotherhood, as Jack Hughes pointed out, the strength in numbers of what they had, and the commitment they had to one another. It's going to be one of those situations where you're going to see them forever now. I mean, they are linked forever, and what an incredible high. I can't even imagine it. You have to worry a little bit that if they're able to re-energize themselves for the rest of the regular season, because that can't be easy. When we come back, it's always easy talking with our friend Mitch Lyons. He's going to join us. It's Mondays with Mitch on X's and Bros, brought to you this hour by Meijer.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and educational programs that are helping the Parkinson's community, just like Mitch Lyons Wealth helps improve the quality for their clients' retirements. This center helps improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
And Gibby, the best part of all is that access to the center is available to the Parkinson's community free of charge, right?
That's right, absolutely free of charge for people with Parkinson's and their care partners.
You hit a couple of the most famous home runs in Major League history, Gibby, but I feel that your greatest hit will be the positive impact that Kirk Gibson Center is making in the fight against Parkinson's.
Mitch, since my diagnosis, I get up every day and focus on winning that day. This center encourages others to do the same.
Awesome, Gibby. To learn more, go to kirkgibsoncenter.org.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The Huge Show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
You're listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network. We'll be right back after this break, but while you're waiting, be sure to vote on our daily poll question presented by MitchLyonsWealth.com at XB Mornings on X.
Ever since that win yesterday, I couldn't wait to talk with our friend Mitch Lyons every Monday, 7:18 Mondays with Mitch. Gives us great perspective, not just from a professional standpoint, but from a guy who loves his country standpoint. And he joins us here, as he always does, Mondays, 7:18 Mondays with Mitch, brought to you by MitchLyonsWealth.com. The pride that you had yesterday as you watched Johnny I almost said Johnny Gaudreau. We'll get to that here in a minute. But as you watch Jack Hughes slide one past Jordan Binnington for the golden goal, what was it?
Well, let's just say there's a little extra pep in my step today, man. I woke up ready to charge into Monday because, boy, was that fun or what? I mean, just to wake up, have a morning coffee, watching a little gold medal hockey, and it was just a great game. I mean, Canada was so dominant in the offensive zone, but at least I did. I just had the feeling, I was like, you know what? The goalie's standing on his head, and so somehow we're going to find a way to get this done. And it just kind of felt like destiny with, the whole Johnny Gaudreau story. But man, when he piped that final shot into the back of the net, that was just incredible. A great moment, and just iconic picture with his broken teeth and the flag draped around him. It was awesome.
What do you think was the best moment of the victory? I mean, besides the goal itself, what was the best moment overall that you'll remember forever?
Yeah, I think that the save, right? That's when I kind of felt like, all right, if they can't get that goal in by that guy, it was just incredible to get that paddle down and deflect that thing. And at that point, I was like, wow. I mean, this is unbelievable. And to 41 shots, I mean, he was unreal the entire game. And then that save was just probably the best in the history of Olympic gold medal games, I would think.
Yeah, I would think the same thing. You saw so much Michigan pride, the state of Michigan pride, that was evident, that was on display. And as you mentioned, Johnny Gaudreau going to get his two kids, that gave me goosebumps. What was your reaction when you saw that? Did you well up at all?
Oh yeah, how do you not, right? I mean, such a tragic story to begin with, but then these guys just play for his memory and his family, and it was it's a gut-wrenching story, but what a great way to honor his memory. And for sure I'm an easy crier anyway, Shep, so that had the tears flowing for sure.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a good cry every once in a while. I don't care how old you are, or if it's a man or a woman. I said this the other day. We're in a pretty good spot in this state of Michigan. We've got three of the top 4 college hockey rankings: Michigan State, Michigan, Western Michigan. We got the defending national champions in hockey in Western Michigan. The Grand Rapids Griffins, arguably the greatest season of any AHL team in history. The Red Wings could be headed for the postseason for the first time in 9 years. You have obviously these players who are associated with our great state, so instrumental in men's and women's hockey. And then, of course, we've got the best basketball team in the NBA and 2 of the best college basketball teams. It's not a bad time to be a Michigan native right now, is it?
It's really not. And, by the way, the Tigers start pretty soon. So, it's a great time to be following sports. And, the Pistons, best team in the NBA. It goes on. And it's just it's a great time to be a sports fan in Michigan, and certainly been a fun ride, and looking forward to seeing some of these seasons play out.
Besides the hockey, what other moment in the Olympics stuck out to you most, if at all?
Yeah, I think kind of the tale of two stories. Elisa Leo, winning gold after stepping away from the sport, taking a bit of a break, and then kind of coming back on her own terms and just skating freely for the right reasons. And then on the other side, on the men's side, just seeing Ilya Malinin kind of have obviously a catastrophic performance in his individual. And just, to watch, to see how he handled it. And I think to see how he handles it going forward too. I mean, to fail on the biggest stage, that's tough. And for a 21-year-old kid, I'll be rooting for him to bounce back. But those two kind of stick out in my mind. Just, that's athletics, that's life. Hey, you get knocked down, you got to get back up. And sometimes, like she did, you realize what's important in life, and you come back and you do it for yourself and for your family, and bam, she gets it done. So it'll be fun to watch those two going forward as well.
Yeah. Who was the men's power skater, the not Eric Heiden, who was well decorated. Was it Dan Jansen who fell numerous times and had to come back and finally did capture gold, which I thought, you could use as inspiration way back in the day. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. That's a great reference.
Hey, Michigan State played Ohio State yesterday. It was a nice win for Tom Izzo and company. They got 22 wins. I think it's getting overshadowed. I mean, people need to recognize they've had a really good season, okay? It may not have gone as smoothly as many people would have liked, but 22 wins is a hell of a year so far. Going 12-5 in the Big Ten so far has been pretty damn good. However, they have trailed at the half in 6 of their last 7 games. How unnerving is their unsettling starts and a recent trend?
Well, let's look at it this way. Thank goodness they don't hand out trophies at halftime, right? So you play it in its totality. Having said that, would we like to get some better starts? Yes. And, it doesn't help when Jackson Kohler picks up a silly second foul 90 feet from the basket and then the horrible call on him, I thought, felt for his third. And when he's missing the bulk of the first half, that doesn't help our chances. But that was, an issue yesterday. But, we've gotten some slow starts, and it comes back to the inconsistent shooting more than anything, right? There's just times when the lid goes on the basket. And it causes problems. But on the flip side, I mean, this team's showing that they're, super resilient. They can come back from a deficit, which I think is important. Going into the tourneys, Big Ten, NCAA, to know that if you're down, they've got that fight in them, that they know they've come back before. They know they can do it. Now, would I love to see them start off and get on a hot streak and play from ahead? I sure would. But, in the one and done scenario, I think it's good to have played some of these games where you've had to come back and claw and fight your way, but you don't want to have to do it 6 games in a row in a tournament setting. So hopefully they find a little streaky shooting and they build some confidence among themselves, and hopefully it gets contagious.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about hanging out with a guy like Mitch Lyons is the positivity. So I think I know the answer to this. But when you look at it, when they shoot 40% and only make 4 threes and yet come away with the win, are you looking at it with the glass half full? They still found a way to win? Or are you looking at it with their deficiencies, at least in that game, that one game against Ohio State, and saying these are the things that might concern me most moving forward with that outside shooting?
Well, it depends at which point of the game you catch me. My wife Angela would probably suggest I'm not always as positive. When we're in the middle of an 0-for-8 stretch and we haven't scored in 4 minutes, I'm probably not as positive. But, I mean, you can look at it both ways. And I think it's important you do, right? Hey, yes, we can overcome that. We've shown that. That's great. But, man, we got to get better. We can't keep digging a hole like that. And you just can't count on that in the one and done season, which we're coming up on. So, I think you can pull positives out of it, but man, there's areas to work on, and we've got to be more consistent. And I don't know. You never know, but can you fix a shooting issue? I don't know, but I do know this. There's times when they have shot pretty well, like the game before last, and you hope they just catch a little lightning in a bottle. And like I said, get contagious and just catch it at the right time and go on a hot streak.
The rebounding keeps them alive, and the defense is their staple, no question.
Always keep seeing it. Always keep seeing it.
Absolutely. Tell Angie we said hello. She's always smiling, seemingly.
Right,
and we appreciate the time. Have a great week.
Have a gold medal week, guys.
Amen to that. Yeah, that's Mitch Lyons from
Yes!
Mitch Lyons Wealth. Yeah, find him today on his website, mitchlyonswealth.com, or 866-85-STEEL. Sign up for the free newsletter and get a free copy of the book, Retirement of Steel, on the website, and also a featured expert in the documentary Retirement Deception. That's a film protecting people from the deceptions of retirement planning. And there's a free streaming code on the website. It is never too early, nor is it ever too late to think about that. Keep that in mind. We want your hero and heel. That comes up at 8:18. When we come back, some incredible company for sure. And I hate it when a player says this. That's all coming up here on X's and Bros. Stay with us. We're brought to you by Meyer.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and educational programs that are helping the Parkinson's community. just like Mitch Lyons Wealth helps improve the quality for their clients' retirements. This center helps improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
And Gibby, the best part of all is that access to the center is available to the Parkinson's community free of charge, right?
That's right, absolutely free of charge for people with Parkinson's and their care partners.
You hit a couple of the most famous home runs in Major League history, Gibby, but I feel that your greatest hit will be the positive impact the Kirk Gibson Center is making in the fight against Parkinson's.
Mitch, since my diagnosis, I get up every day and focus on winning that day. This center encourages others to do the same.
Awesome, Gibby. To learn more, go to kirkgibsoncenter.org.
Avelo Air knows how much you love the Tigers. They love them too. They want to help you get to spring training in Lakeland because it is an awesome time. They fly nonstop from Grand Rapids to Lakeland Thursdays and Sundays, and nonstop from Detroit to Lakeland Wednesdays and Saturdays. Everyday low fares and reliable service. You don't want to fly anywhere else. Book your trip to Lakeland on AveloAir.com and use the promo code HUGE for $20 off a round-trip base fare when you book by March 31st. Restrictions do apply.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Thanks for tuning in to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard, only on the Michigan Sports Network.
I'm lucky I'm from the best country in the world, and we got great dentists there too. So I'm lucky I'm American, and they're going to fix me right up. So proud to be American. I'm so proud of this group. I'm so happy that we could win. We have so many people here supporting us. We have so many people back home supporting us, and you know, we're so thrilled with how this whole tournament played out, and you know, just an unbelievable moment for USA Hockey.
Oh man, there are so many different ways to go in this, and there are so many different ways that you look at what that team did, and
how good is that soundbite?
It's as good as it gets.
From the dentistry to the pride of America, it's awesome.
He wasn't trying to do this, okay, but he became an American icon, not just because of what he did on the ice, but because of what he said when he got off the ice.
Yep, for sure.
That team became iconic, not just because of what accomplished on the ice together, but because of how it handled the moment afterwards. When you can get together and show your emotion, like Jack Eichel, I don't know if you saw this interview, but afterwards, Jack Eichel, when somebody asked him, what's it feel like? He couldn't control his emotions. He had the flag draped around his shoulders, and he was crying. He was just crying because he realizes how special it was.
He knew what it meant.
How he's had to overcome things, but also because of how close that team came together within just a couple of weeks. There's something to be said for that, right?
For sure.
And the pride that I would hope most people, how you couldn't feel it, I don't know. I mean, I've read some articles where some people were questioning it, from various publications.
Well, you know what, Shep?
I think was how in the world do you take that stance after you said? I mean, there was literally people cheering against the U.S. Americans cheering against them,
which makes me sick.
How in the world does that happen when these guys, all they do is they go out and they play? Like there's no political statements there. All they said was they love their country afterwards. But this stems back from when they were booed a lot in Canada.
Yeah.
And when Matthew Tkachuk, you can say what you want about him, Matthew Tkachuk comes out and he says, I didn't like it. And he sent the message right away from the first meeting in the Four Nations. Now, Canada ended up winning the Four Nations. Connor McDavid with the overtime goal. And I know how Canada feels about it. That Canada feels like they're the best hockey nation in the world. That's fine. If I had that type of talent, I would probably feel the same way. But Team USA is right there.
Yeah.
And then to kick that door in yesterday and win the gold medal in the Olympics, you're not taking that away from us.
Chef's kiss, man. I mean,
yeah,
it's just awesome.
I'm telling you, man, the U.S. is the best team in the world.
Yeah.
And until somebody's got to prove it differently. And when you look at what has happened with Canada, this is the reason they're upset, and I can't necessarily blame them. You lose in the World Juniors. You lose to Team USA in the women's gold medal game. You lose to USA in the men's gold medal game. Your baseball team lost in the World Series. They were so close, right? So close. If you get the toe down across the plate, maybe it's not, a force out at home in whatever inning that was, and how close the goal was when Connor Hellebuyck reaches back and saves it. Just an amazing, amazing emotional ride yesterday morning that really set the stage for what was a phenomenal day.
And in an Olympics where so many American athletes have been, I don't want to say polarizing, but
controversial.
Yeah. So for those guys to go out there and basically put a cherry on top, because that was the last event, right? I mean, there was some stuff that went on throughout the afternoon, but that was what a way to end the Olympics yesterday before the closing ceremonies. My goodness.
And then all the video of them celebrating in the locker room afterwards.
Terrific.
Certain songs that had to do with American pride and so on and so
Dream
forth.
On.
Well, they were singing Toby Keith. They were
Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. That's a good
Courtesy of
song.
the Red, White,
It's a great song. Yeah.
So that's what they were singing afterwards. The video montages have been put to Dream On for sure. But what they were singing is Toby Keith. At least the first song that I saw them singing anyway.
Yeah, I got you.
And it was over and over and over again. But I think it made being patriotic cool again.
Well said.
In 1980,
well said. Yes.
In 1980, we needed it at that time. because of a lot of the issues that were taking place. And you could argue this team, not just the men, but the women too, because the women were phenomenal. I mean, you outscore your opposition 33-2 through the entire Olympics.
Dominant.
They were a dominant force, as dominant as any team in the entire Olympic competition until that gold medal game. And they needed, that obviously game tying goal to force overtime, and then they win it. I don't recall Canada's coaches bitching and moaning about the 3-on-3 format. I'm not sure about that, but anyway. But I had mentioned Jack Eichel, and Jack Eichel had just did something yesterday that only one other player in hockey history has ever done. And that is win the Hobey Baker, which is the Heisman Trophy of college hockey, win a Stanley Cup, and win a gold medal in the Olympics.
Wow.
Who's the other? Any idea? I would not have guessed this.
I'd never. No, I won't know. I won't know who it is.
Yeah. So it's Neil Broughton. Neil Broughton played for the University of Minnesota. Was a second-round pick, 1979. He's a really good player. All right. So Neil Broughton is the other. Okay. So he's got the gold medal from the 1980 team.
Who did he win his cup with?
He won his Stanley Cup. I believe he won it with trying to think. Did he win it with Dallas? No, I don't think he won it with Dallas. I'll have to look that up. Maybe New Jersey.
Well, I can check too.
Maybe it was New Jersey. It might have been New Jersey when the Devils won. Was he on that team in 1995? Trying to think. Yes, I think he was. I think he was on that team in 1995 when the New Jersey Devils beat the Red Wings.
So there you go.
So there's your trifecta, if you will. Neil Broughton and Jack Eichel. Pretty cool. Really cool situation. So love listening to that. And from a Canada standpoint, Neil Broughton was asked, about the game. He said, or not Neil Broughton, but Jordan Binghamton, the goalie for Team Canada, he says, what a hockey game. We left it all out there. We've got to hold our heads high. He's 100% right. It's not like Canada is a bad team. They're a great team, but Team USA had the best player in Connor Hellebuck. And there are plenty of pictures that you'll want to see from that. You'll want to see all kinds of pictures of the team on the ice. But the most iconic picture has to be Jack Hughes with the flag draped around him, looking up, and he's got that crooked smile because he lost 1.5 teeth from the high stick. So just awesome stuff.
Beautiful.
And yeah, it really is. Yesterday was a glorious morning for most. I got up early. I watched all the pregame ceremonies and so on and so forth. And then the whole family came down, some a little bit later than others. And we were just, when they scored, I don't really get too emotional, but it was pretty.
It was moving.
It was pretty moving.
Shep, yeah. My buddies and I, we were all joking about it because we're like, we don't skip church often, but we're skipping church today because we're watching Team USA, damn it. Like that was, it was awesome.
You have to do that. Here's something else as we shift gears. Something else that I hate when athletes say this because it makes us feel like, well, it's almost as if you're treating us like we're stupid. I think Jackson Smith-Njigba is an awesome player. I do. I think he's a phenomenal wide receiver. Helped his team win the Super Bowl. Arguably the best wide receiver in the National Football League.
Do you think he is? Quick aside, do you think he is? Or would you still put Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson there?
I would still put Jamar Chase ahead of him. I might even put Puka Nacua ahead of him, quite honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I think Puka Nacua is unbelievable.
Same division.
Chase, Nacua, you could make the argument Justin Jefferson. Some could make the argument Amon-Ra St. Brown. Seriously.
Yeah, right.
I mean, but look, Jackson Smith-Njigba had an unbelievable year. Led the league in receiving with roughly 1,800 on 10 less catches than Puka Nacua, who led the league in receptions. Smith-Njigba right behind Nacua in yards per game. All right. They both had the same number of touchdowns, although Devontae Adams led the league in that regard in touchdowns. And when you look at first downs, Jackson Smith and Jigba was second to Puka Nacua in that regard. Jamar Chase was third. Amon-Ra St. Brown was fifth. All right. I suppose people in Dallas could make a case for George Pickens too. But he's due to make big time money. And you can understand why his timing is going to be so good. He said this recently: I believe I deserve to be the highest paid in my position. Just what I give to the game and the community. I give it my all. I didn't think it's worth a lot more. Okay, so there's a couple of things there. Obviously, what he gives to the game is phenomenal. Okay, he is, arguably, like I said, one of the best receivers in football. What you give to the community, my hope is that you're not patting yourself on the back there. My hope is that you do that without the expectation of recognition.
Well, you're doing it because you actually want to do it and you care about
Well,
it.
that's
Not because you want press.
Well, but that's how you would think. Okay,
that's what you hope. Yes,
he sure isn't. By making that statement, he sure isn't Robin Williams. Robin Williams, one of the greatest characters and actors, perhaps of our lifetime, anyway.
No doubt.
Used to demand that on the set, as extras, they hire homeless people. So those homeless people would oftentimes get the opportunity to make some money, and who knows what happens afterwards. They get fed while they're on the set. They get a chance to make some money. One guy actually worked so hard on one of the, I forget which, Dead Poets Society might have been the movie. He was actually able to rent an apartment because of that and got his life together. Nobody knew that. Nobody knew that until Robin Williams had passed away.
Yeah, because he wasn't looking for that recognition.
Right. He wasn't sitting there patting himself on the back, pumping his chest and saying, look at what I've done. This is the type of really good person I am.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Smith and Jigba, his contract of 4 years, $14.5 million, the rookie deal, is soon to expire. And he will probably surpass the annual average of Jamar Chase, which is $40 million. Jamar Chase signed a 4-year, $160 million deal. Was it last March, I believe? And then Justin Jefferson ranks second, $35 million per year. Smith and Jigba will want to exceed the Jamar Chase $40 million price tag. Later on in the podcast or interview, Jackson Smith and Jigba said, I would play this game for free. I love the game so much. But you don't have to. And I'm learning to be a good businessman. We need that check at the end of the day. Okay. Nobody expects you to play for free. Nobody. You work your tail off year round to be among the best at what you do. You and I wouldn't do this job for free, even though we love it. There's many people who enjoy their jobs. They may think that, they may say that, but in the end, you have to pay bills. Nobody expects you to play for free. Stop telling us you played for free.
Well, Shep, he also threw in one of your favorite phrases at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, right? How can you get through an entire interview without claiming at the end of the day? I mean, and it's constant. It's not just athletes.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day. Thank you very much. I mean, my best buddy says that on a pretty regular basis. He says, at the end of the day. At the end of the day, yeah. But the whole, I would play this game for free is nauseating. Because in reality, you wouldn't. You wouldn't play the game for free.
You wouldn't do anything for free.
Okay. First of all, you can't play the game for free, obviously, because you've got to find a way to earn a living. And nobody expects you to either. Don't insult us. Don't patronize us by saying you'd play it for free just because you think it's a cool tagline. And that next time somebody actually has a debate on who the best wide receiver in the National Football League is, somebody tries to use the trump card and say, yeah, but did Jackson Smith and Jigba would play it for free? Did Jamar Chase ever say that? No. Jamar's Chase spit in somebody's face, which is disgusting, but he never said, I'd play it for free. And the reason he didn't say it, because it's not likely.
So he can't be first on my list.
Right.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
This is how I feel.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Hear me roar. Right. Hey, we just talked about with Mitch Lyons about the Michigan State issue. The 40% shooting, the 4 triples, things got to get better. He asked a really good question. Can you fix a team that isn't very good shooters? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if anybody does. But I do believe that that's an area of weakness for Michigan State. I think they're a really good basketball team. They're a top 15 team, and rightfully so. Could I see them making a deep run? Absolutely, because of what they hang their proverbial hat on. It's going to be really hard if you can't make shots.
Yeah.
Okay. They had some really good looks yesterday, too. Really good looks. It's not the flow of the offense that's the problem. You've got to knock them down. When you've got an open baseline jumper, you got to knock it down, damn it. But they couldn't.
But they have had the game also, like against UCLA, where they can't miss. So, I mean, I'm with you, Shep. Like, I would never consider Michigan State a great shooting team, but they have shown they can knock down shots consistently. I mean, they did it against UCLA. They made everything.
You're saying consistently in a game.
In a game, yes.
Okay, yeah.
But game to game, when it matters in March, I don't know.
I get it. I get it. I mean, saying that they can knock down shots consistently might be a little bit of a stretch.
I think it is. I'm with you.
Okay.
But I'm just saying we've at least seen it.
You've seen it in a game. I guess then they couldn't do it against Duke. They shot 32% against Duke.
Yeah, and that was the difference, losing by 6, right? So
now defensively, they held Duke to 38%. So that shows you something. So I'm with you on that, right? But for every moment you bring up that you could say, they've shown that they can shoot the ball consistently, I go back to Nebraska where they shot 34%.
Yeah.
I can bring up an example of their inability to do that. It doesn't mean that they're a bad team. It means they're a flawed team. And every team in college basketball today, I would guess, people could say, is flawed. Sometimes you have it, and sometimes you don't. Michigan didn't have it against Duke to a certain extent. I don't expect them to drop very far. They won't. They're still an excellent basketball team. But I warned you this on Friday. Duke is really good, man. And they are. They were the better team in certain moments. Now, I watched that game with some family members who think more with their heart than they do with their head. And the belief afterwards, the screaming was, they're not a better team. Duke's not the best team. Based on what? Well, they're just not the better team. Based on what? They just beat you on a neutral floor. It was a good game. It's a close game, but they won. You tell me how you can say they aren't the better team. Our phone number on the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843. Text line is Sports Radio 21,000. We're brought to you this hour by Meyer.
In the Den with Dan Dickerson.
Lake Michigan Credit Union is proud to be the presenting sponsor of your Detroit Tigers 2026 spring training. Get out to the ballpark this year and enjoy some family-friendly fun. LMCU. You'll love banking there.
So how do you evaluate top prospects during spring training, which is the toughest time of year to evaluate any player? Well, there's a lot that goes into it, and it goes well beyond the numbers. Take Kevin McGonigal as a prime example. AJ wanted to get him comfortable, first of all, so he immediately paired him with Javi Baez and Gleyber Torres and drills. AJ wanted to push him at the same time, so he started McGonigal at shortstop and hit him second in the first game. Defense is extremely important. McGonigal didn't get a ball hit to him in that game, but AJ and his coaches were watching closely to see what his pre-pitch setup is like. Is he on time every pitch? It's all in the details, and everything a player has done in his time in the Tigers organization gets put into that evaluation equation, and every day they can do something on and off the field to build their case for making the opening day roster.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
You've worked hard for decades saving in pre-tax retirement plans like 401ks and IRAs, saving on taxes now. But as your retirement now approaches, you're going to get taxed at rates you have no control over. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Your 401k balance isn't worth what your statement says. You could lose thousands of dollars to taxes, and those distributions can impact other areas of your retirement like Social Security and Medicare. Could a Roth IRA conversion be of help to you? You've probably heard of Roth conversions, but it can be confusing. Should you convert all at once or over time? Where should you pay the taxes from? How do you know for sure? Get our free personalized Roth Blueprint analysis today to find out exactly what makes sense for you. Your Roth Blueprint could potentially increase your lifetime wealth by thousands of dollars. So get your free Roth Blueprint today. Text Blueprint to 844-867-8335. That's Blueprint to 844-867-8335. Or go to MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Avello Airlines knows you love the Tigers because they love them too. It's why they have direct flights to Lakeland, Florida out of both Grand Rapids and Detroit. Thursdays and Sundays are nonstop out of GR, and Wednesdays and Saturdays are nonstop out of Detroit. So wherever you are in Michigan, you can get down to spring training to watch your Tigers. With everyday low fares, reliable service, you do not want to fly any other way. Head to AvelloAir.com to book your trip now. That's AVELO air.com and use code HUGE for $20 off a round-trip base fare if you book before March 31st. Restrictions do apply.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Don't forget, you can comment when we stream live on YouTube and on X and on Facebook as well. So we welcome that for sure. Anytime you get that opportunity to check us out, we thank you for that. We also thank our great station affiliates in Cadillac, WKAD, the Ticket 93.7 FM in Grand Rapids, WMAX 96.1 FM, The Game, in Petoskey and Charlevoix, WMBN 104.7 FM, The Ticket, Northern Michigan. In Lansing, WVFN AM, The Game, 7:30 a.m. And in Traverse City, The Ticket, WKAD 93.7 FM. I'm Matt Shepard. Trent Bally's alongside as well. Team USA, a winner on the ice in the gold medal game. Jack Hughes, the hero. They win it 2-1 in overtime. Connor Hellebuck made 41 saves, was the best player on the ice. They've allowed America to beat Canada for the first time since the 1996 World Cup of Hockey, and for the first time in the Olympics since 1960. Michigan State beats Ohio State 66-60. They get a double-double from Carson Cooper at 20 points and 11 rebounds, his best game of the year. And the Spartans improved to 22 up, 5 down, 12-4 in Big Ten play. Tigers tied the Orioles 4-4 in an exhibition game, and Jacob Bridgman wins his first PGA event, holding on at the Genesis Invitational. Scotty Scheffler finished tied for 12th. So it snaps a string of 18 consecutive tournaments in which he finished in the top 10. He was last place after day one and then took off over the weekend. That has happened too many times for him this year. He's got to be better.
Are you starting to lock in on golf, Shep?
Oh, I'm always locked in.
I know you are because you're a big
weekend.
golf fan, but I mean, it's starting to feel like that time of year, isn't it?
Yeah, I watch it every single weekend. Yeah, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I absolutely love it, man. I mean, and I love watching Scheffler. I really do. I think he's phenomenal.
One of the greats.
Here's the Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question. Which Michigander USA hockey player is your MVP from the Olympics? Is it Megan Keller? Is it Connor Hellebuck? Is it Quinn Hughes or other? So the other means you could either be Jack Hughes, because Jack Hughes scored
gold medal goal.
Game-winning goal. It could be Dylan Larkin. It could be Zach Werenski, who I don't think enough is being made of what Zach Werenski did. I think it's awesome stuff. He was phenomenal. But anyway, you can vote as often as you want at XP Mornings. I've retweeted it, and we'll give you the results tomorrow in the 8 o'clock hour. We said last week about the teams. I asked you for the teams that would go worst to first in the NFL in their division or first to last. And my number one team, obviously, is the Lions. I think most people feel that way. Of any team that had the worst record in its division, who's most likely to turn that around and reach the top spot in their division? Most people would tell you.
If there were odds on that sort of thing, it would be they'd be the betting favorite with a bullet.
I said for me, the second, since that was the most obvious, I said the second team that I would pick is the New Orleans Saints. Some people probably laughed at it. Pro Football Focus, for what it's worth, I understand what it is. A lot of it is too many numbers for us to comprehend and really digest. But Pro Football Focus came out over the weekend after we had talked about this, so we didn't steal it from them. But after we had talked about it, with their rankings, the number one team, since two teams did it in 2025, the Chicago Bears did it and New England did it. The number one team is the Lions, and they write the Lions simply have too much talent on their roster not to compete for the NFC North. However, staying healthy has been a reoccurring issue over the past 2 seasons, particularly on defense. Defensive backs, DJ Reed, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Terrion Arnold, all projected starters, were on the field for an average of just 44% of Detroit's defensive snaps. None of them played more than 746 of the 1,100 plus on that side of the ball. Offensively, Lions still boast elite playmakers: Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta when healthy. The biggest concern for the offense is the offensive line. Penei Sewell remains arguably the best lineman in football, and Detroit has every reason to believe its young guard duo of Christian Mahogany and Tate Ratledge will take a step forward in 2026. I don't think Lions fans are confident in the last statement, specifically about Christian Mahogany. But about Tate Ratledge, I don't think I saw, again, PFF, I saw something over the weekend that indicated he has been the best graded out pass protecting guard as a rookie in the NFL this year, for what that's worth. Their number 2 team, to my surprise and pleasant surprise, is the New Orleans Saints. So even Pro Football Focus tends to agree with me. Their third team is the New York Giants, which I had ranked third as well. I stopped guessing after that, but they have the Tennessee Titans at 4, primarily because of the division in which they play.
I like that one. I like
it.
it.
The Cleveland Browns at 5, the Las Vegas Raiders at 6, the Arizona Cardinals at 7, and I think a lot of that has to do with the division in which they play. I don't think that's a team that has any chance at going worst to first, not just because I don't think they're that good, but also because of their division. And then number 8 they have, as you can deduct, the New York Jets, which is not a surprise either.
Yikes.
That team is an absolute gong show right now in New York. But I thought you'd find that interesting. The teams that they predict going worst to first within their division: Lions number 1, Saints number 2, Giants number 3, according to Pro Football Focus. So keep that in mind as you move forward, and always looking for things to talk about in terms of the National Football League that is right now in the midst of franchise tagging window. Today, I believe, is today not the 23rd? It is.
Yes.
Today is the NFL Combine. It starts today. The NFL Combine, the 23rd through March 2nd, which seems like a really long time.
Well, the NFL just does a great job. We've talked about it before. They do a great job of keeping themselves in the mix year round, you know?
Yeah, there's always something to talk
about. The Super Bowl was a couple weeks ago,
League.
And now
when
they're,
you have other sports where out of sight, out of mind. They're not doing anything, right? When baseball's over, baseball's over. There's not many people talking about the baseball draft because baseball's draft takes place during the baseball season, which to me has always been very strange. Wait until the year is over and then have your draft. But on the other hand, that wouldn't make sense because you've got players who are done with their college season or their high school season, and they can go to your minor league affiliates and begin playing as a pro right away, which is fine. And I understand why baseball does that. The only problem is your draft gets absolutely no play whatsoever. And it shouldn't really matter that much considering not many people know those guys anyway. You don't know high school players. You had never heard of Riley Green before you started getting maybe a week ahead of time. You didn't know who Max Clark was. You didn't know who, Bryce Rayner was. You didn't know any of these guys. And that's just the way it's got to be with baseball. And that's the way it's got to be with hockey as well, because people just don't follow them. All right. But that's part of the issue is that they're out of sight, out of mind. Football keeps it top mind awareness throughout an entire calendar year because they space out the various things. I don't think there was any chance anybody realized way back in the day when Pete Rozelle was the commissioner and they were literally walking up cards to give you in front of cameras on a index card, 3x5 index card that says, I'm going to draft this player. Nobody thought it would be this big. Nobody thought the NFL Combine would ever be that big. But today starts the NFL Combine. All right, when we come back, we start hero and heel. Who was the best of the week? Who was the worst? Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes not so much. Doesn't have to be sports related for you either. Let us know who your hero and heel is via text, Sports Radio 21000, or on the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843. We're brought to you this hour by our friends at Avelo Airlines.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and educational programs that are helping the Parkinson's community, just like Mitch Lyons Wealth helps improve the quality for their clients' retirements. This center helps improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
And Gibby, the best part of all is that access to the center is available to the Parkinson's community free of charge, right?
That's right, absolutely free of charge for people with Parkinson's and their care partners.
You hit a couple of the most famous home runs in Major League history, Gibby, but I feel that your greatest hit will be the positive impact the Kirk Gibson Center is making in the fight against Parkinson's.
Mitch, since my diagnosis, I get up every day and focus on winning that day. This center encourages others to do the same.
Awesome, Gibby. To learn more, go to kirkgibsoncenter.org.
You're listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network. We'll be right back after this break, but while you're waiting, be sure to vote on our daily poll question presented by MitchLyonsWealth.com at XB Mornings on X.
Lake Michigan Credit Union is proud to be the official sponsor of Detroit Tigers spring training. Get to the ballpark today and enjoy family fun. LMCU is providing tickets to winners who enter our Tigers Tuesday contest. Text the word Tigers to 21,000 and register for tickets today. And listen to The Huge Show to see if you're a winner. It's brought to you by our friends at LMCU. You'll love banking there.
Huge here for Josh Garvey and his team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan. Now, they continue to grow. They got their worldwide headquarters in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. They are worldwide. They are the leaders when it comes to accounting, CPA, and business needs. Simple and easy. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. And also, Josh Garvey joins me every Tuesday as we talk hoops with former Michigan and Cleveland Cavaliers head coach John Beilein. Tuesdays, 5 p.m., Josh Garvey, Coach Beilein, and myself, we talk Michigan, Michigan State, and the Pistons. Talking hoops happens all the way through the NBA Finals. And could you imagine if the Pistons are in the NBA Finals? If you ever have a hoops question for us, you can drop it at Huge Show on Twitter, The Huge Show on Facebook, and Talking Hoops every Tuesday at 5 p.m., presented by one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms, Dorn Mayhew.
Just a reminder, this hour is brought to you by Avello Airlines. Right now, they have round trip, and they have direct flights from Grand Rapids to Lakeland, from Detroit to Lakeland. You could save money. They will drop you off 20 minutes from Joker Marchant Stadium. You don't have to worry about with long lines. You don't have to worry about with salty people taking your tickets or handling your bags. You deal with people who are professional, care about what they do, and care about you. It is Avello Airlines. Go to AvelloAir.com, and they are a proud sponsor and proud partner of ours, along with LMCU, in getting you to Lakeland. Billy has broadcast from Lakeland before. He continues to do that, and you need to know that in order to get there safely, soundly, directly, it is all about Avello Airlines. Check them out today. Somebody had texted us, and they said, if the Pistons go 3-0, what would you take, or what would you take from the Pistons this week? Now, this is a big week for them for a lot of different reasons. They beat Chicago over the weekend. They're 42 up, 13 down. They play San Antonio at home.
Yeah, it starts tonight.
They play Oklahoma City at home. They play Cleveland at home. If you're looking at, if you're measuring this team, I mean, I think they've passed a lot of tests so far. They've played 55 games, folks. There's only 17 games left, right? So if you're looking at a test, this should be their stiffest test yet. And you could maybe take it a little bit further, since after Cleveland, they're at Orlando, but then they're at Cleveland, at San Antonio. So if you throw in the Cleveland and San Antonio situation, that is really big. What would you take? What do you feel you need to have over these 3 games? Boston's 5.5 back in the conference. The Knicks are 5.5 back in the conference. OKC is 44-14. You're 42-13. So from a winning percentage standpoint, you're better. 76.5% to 76%. San Antonio is 40-16. So you know damn well. I mean, and Cleveland's playing really good basketball right now. They lost the other day, but they've won 8 of 10. So that's a team that's trying to make a push. In fact, Charles Barkley said over the weekend, I've changed my pick. He said, before the season began, I said the Knicks were going to represent the East. He said, now I think it's the Cleveland Cavaliers, just bypassing Detroit, which I'm like, wow. I mean, I don't know what a team has to do.
Who cares?
I think it still goes down to, well, yeah, I know. I don't disagree with it. It's like the guy on the Colin Cowherd show. He's like, this dude, I forget his name, something McIntyre.
Jason McIntyre. He's an
Jason
idiot.
McIntyre. Yeah, he is an idiot. I mean, here's a guy who said the other day, Mike Evans is chasing.
He's never sniffed a Super Bowl.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he won one with Tampa and Tom Brady. I could be wrong, but I just think that's the case. Yeah. And so now he ranks Cade Cunningham as the 4th or 5th best American-born player.
Yeah.
And it's like, how is there any justification? Why does his validation, his opinion matter to us at all?
It's embarrassing.
Charles Barkley, maybe a little different. He played at the highest level. He's an Olympian, all this other stuff. He sees basketball. Okay. I mean, he's given Detroit a little bit of due, not as much as Shaquille O'Neal has. But it's interesting how people feel like, well, why should I listen to Charles Barkley? Because he doesn't pick Detroit, but we're going to listen to Shaq? Should that be more important to us? I'm going to listen to both. I just think he's wrong.
We are very selective. I'm just simply saying, for Charles Barkley to not even mention the Pistons in his preseason and then mid-season discussion. I mean, come on.
I don't disagree.
What are you watching, man?
But let me ask you this: did you mention the Pistons before the season?
Yeah.
You thought they were good enough to win the Eastern Conference?
Not this good, but I thought they'd be top 4 seed. Yeah, I think you agreed with me. Yeah,
I did agree with you. He's just saying he only gave 2 teams. You said top 4 seed, which tells me they're a 4 seed. You thought Cleveland would be better. You thought Boston might be better. You thought New York might be better.
I didn't think Boston would because Jason Tatum was hurt.
Some people thought Orlando. How wrong were those people about Orlando?
Very.
I think Charles Barkley's wrong. If you're going to say New York before the season, there's a lot of even Detroiters who understand that mindset. We're talking about the here and now. Your pick, you've changed your pick from New York to Cleveland, which seems a little odd considering the way Detroit has played.
Yeah, it's rough.
You know, the 21 wins at home, the most in the most in the East. Their 20 road kills, the most in the East. They've got the best record against the conference. They have the best record in the NBA, and they've won 5 in a row. They've also won 8 of 10. Now, this was before they beat Chicago, but you knew they were going to beat Chicago. Anyway, we can pick that up on the other side. Let's get to Hero and Heel. I have one for you every single Monday at 8:18. We play Hero and Heel, the best and the worst of the weekend. The best for me, the Hero at Team USA, obviously one of the best hockey games you've ever watched. Storylines were immense. Besides the 2 sets of brothers, the Hughes brothers and, of course, the Tkachuk brothers. But the emotional Johnny Gaudreau celebration, the victory on the 46th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. Johnny Gaudreau's son, Johnny, it was his 2nd birthday yesterday. Like, how did we not see the stars align here?
Yeah.
He turns 2.
Meant to be.
He's there. It's the 46th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. You're playing Canada, the greatest team in the world, and you don't think we should have chosen Team USA? We should have. The best part of what Team USA did, and people need to understand this, is that they went 18 for 18 on the penalty kill. They had 5 games. And they only were in the box 18 times. That's pretty damn good. They killed off a 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 42 seconds in that gold medal game. That isn't being talked about nearly enough, but we can always talk about them in different ways as long as you keep the mentions coming. When it comes to Team USA, they're my hero.
Good one. I will keep this one quick. My hero's Tom Izzo. As we get closer and closer to March, I love these quotes that he gives at the podium. Here's Tom Izzo after the win over Ohio State, talking to the media.
Well, when Calder was out as long as he was, and then I did something I don't normally do. I put him back in, and, he got his 3rd foul. So now, bring it on. Come on. You're one of those guys. Bring it on. But you know why? I listened to my media.
You won.
And we won. When he got that 3rd foul, I was thinking of all you guys. I was thinking of all the fans. Interesting.
Yeah, it just never gets old to me. I'm sorry. Very lighthearted hero this week, but Tom Izzo, as we get closer to March, is my hero from the week.
All right, my heel is Canada. Head coach John Cooper made excuses about the overtime format after his team lost, even though he had the 3 best players in the world on the ice. One of those players, Nathan McKinnon, whined that we all saw who the best team was, and yet he missed a wide open net. Canada had 2 breakaways. They had a 5-on-3. They had empty net shots. And the Olympic voters in hockey, how do you not vote as the team's or the tournament's best player as Connor Hellebuyck? McDavid won the MVP of the tournament over Hellebuyck. Hellebuyck finished with 5 wins, a 1.18 goals against average, a save percentage of .956. Sure, McDavid led in points. He had fewer goals than Joe Armia. 2 goals for the tournament. It's kind of a joke as far as I'm concerned. It should have been Connor Hellebuyck. He was voted the best goalie. Gee, no kidding. Quinn Hughes was voted the best defender. Gee, no kidding. But not to give him the MVP, I thought was ridiculous. They're my heel.
Yeah, completely agree. Did you see Axel Lendeborg at the podium after the Duke game, Shep?
I did not.
Okay, so he was asked about Cam Boozer, guarding Cam Boozer, and what does he think about the guy? And he basically
Really
laughed and had a smug, jackass response of just nothing, basically downplaying Cam Boozer's talent. At least that's how I took it. So Morris Johnson steps in and gives a what I thought to be a pretty good response. So I could have made Morris Johnson my hero from the weekend, actually, because, he steps in and just says, hey, he's a really good player. We knew what we were going to play against, and we knew what we were getting, blah, blah, blah. Dusty May's in the middle, says nothing. So Dusty May and Yaxel Lendeborg, I just thought it was a bad look. I encourage all of you to go check it out. I thought it was a bad look. That's all.
Lendeborg was pretty good. 21 points.
He played well.
Boards,
Yep.
7 of 15. The best player on the floor was Cam Boozer, though. 18 and 10 and 7.
And my point is
only
how
had
hard.
One turnover. Only had 1 turnover.
How difficult is it to just tip your cap to the opponent? He played well.
Look, I don't disagree with you. You got to be careful there, though. You got to be careful with that. If you're asking for that, are you getting that from everybody? That's the one thing you've got to ask yourself. And I don't think you get that from everyone.
Well, of course not. And I guess
get it from Nathan McKinnon. Didn't get it from him.
No, correct.
He could have been.
Yes.
He could have been your heel. I mean, Nathan McKinnon said we all know who the best team was. last time I checked, the best team won. Okay. I mean, that crying stuff. I don't believe you always have to give the other team all the credit.
But you don't have to be a jackass, is my
but
point.
But you don't have to downplay what the best player on the floor did. And he was the best player. Cam Boozer was.
Yes.
I thought. Those two teams might meet again. And it might be different. It might be. I don't know. I said this before, though. Duke's a really good basketball team. Their 2 losses have come in the final seconds in both games. That's all I'm telling you. If you've got one, feel free to share. We welcome it via text, Sports Radio 21,000, or on the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843. We get to some texts when we come back. Here on X's and Bros, we're brought to you this hour by Avello Airlines.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
I mean, he's a superstar, and there's no doubt about it. You know, it's hard for me to think of 5 guys in this league that do more on both ends. He guards the other team's best perimeter players on any given night. Offensively, the ball is in his hands. His usage rate, is through the roof. He never says no. He never complains, and he goes out and gets the job done, and it's impacted winning. And I think that's what superstars do, right? Superstars aren't hollow numbers. Superstars are people that impact winning at a level that he had.
There's JB Bickerstaff talking about his superstar, Cade Cunningham. I don't think that's really debatable at this point, to be honest with you. Cade Cunningham is a superstar. I know that word gets overused at times. Shep and I have talked about how the word great, not even superstar, but the word great can be overused at times. And Cade Cunningham absolutely is a superstar. So the Pistons have a big week coming up, coming off the All-Star break, big week coming up. They play the Spurs, they play the Thunder, they play the Cavs a couple times. So if you're looking for a litmus test, this is it. And the top team in the East, the best record in all of basketball, back in action tonight against the Spurs. Shep, go for it.
Yeah, look, when you see what's going on in the world of basketball and you see what the Pistons are able to do so far, I wish more people would take a look at it and understand the turnaround and how challenging this must have been, probably more than anything else. A really good article about how Tom Gores realized how, it was kind of bottom of the barrel to a certain extent, how they hit rock bottom when he hired some of the people in his organization and how he had to reevaluate what he did with his entire organization. And his organization is now led by Trajan Langdon, and how he hired him based on his business acumen. What he decided to do is look at it from a business standpoint instead of a sports fan standpoint. Welcome back. 37 after the hour. My apologies for the delay. Trent, did we get to the text, by the way?
No, let's do it now.
Okay, let's do that. Can we?
Yeah. First 3 periods was amazing hockey. A gold medal game should never be decided by 3-on-3, in my opinion, though.
I understand that. I'm not saying it should be either, but we do know how it was going to be decided. I don't think a hockey game during the regular season should be decided by that. Like, John Cooper feels like it was TV driven. You coach in a league where it's TV driven.
Yeah, that's it for me too, Shep. It's tone deaf.
You may not like it. You may not like it. I don't blame you. I don't necessarily like it. But you know what you didn't like? You didn't like how long it took in overtime. So tell me this. What going into the Olympics, you know all the rules, right? You know how many skaters you got? 20? You know all the different things that they were going to call, or the penalties associated with the calls. And so there's no fighting, Tom Wilson. And you knew how the game would go if it did force an overtime. Knowing that, why are you bitching about it now? Oh, yeah. Because your team lost.
And if they won, you wouldn't hear eck.
Yes. I don't necessarily like it either. And I sure as hell don't like the shootout. I haven't liked the shootout since they implemented it. Everybody loved it when it first started. Let's get to the edge of our seat. Now everybody stand as one. I didn't like it. I don't like deciding a game like that. I don't like deciding a game with a man on second base either. I don't believe in football should be each team should at least possess the football once. I believe you play 5 to 10 minutes of 5-on-5 hockey. And if you don't get it, then you play another 5 to 10 minutes. Okay? I think that way you can shorten your bench a little bit and make things a little bit more interesting.
Well, and it's less
3-on-3 has
controversial, you know.
Yes, and 3-on-3 has been around for a while now, and that's the way it is. If you don't want it decided that way in Olympic competition, then do something about it. You and your governing body of Canada, do something about it. Okay.
So a hypothetical
Everybody played
question,
by the same
Shep.
rules.
Do you
Everybody
think?
played by it.
Do you think that? And I agree, by the way. Do you think that the U.S. You think would have heard anything if the U.S. had lost?
No.
About
No.
3-on-3. I don't either.
No.
I don't either.
I'll go back to what I said before. I understand where John Cooper's coming from. He had the 3 best players in the world on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
If you gave anybody betting odds on who would win 3-on-3 and who it favors, every person who knows anything about the sport of hockey would have said it favors Canada.
Well, and Shep, there were betting odds, and the favor was Canada. Canada was heavily favored.
Because in 3-on-3, what you do is you play 2 forwards and 1 defenseman. You have the 2 best forwards in the world, and you have the best defenseman in the world. You lost.
Yeah.
So your heel, Yaxel Landenborg, you could have said the same thing that I said, but we don't like to duplicate, was Canada because of that whining.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything worse than a sore loser? You don't have to sit there and compliment the other team, even though Team USA did. You don't have to sit there and compliment the other team, but you sure as hell don't have to start making excuses, because it's the last thing people want to hear. Stop. It gets really old. Via text, Hero, Kevin McGonigal smoking a 100-mile-an-hour pitch for his first hit in his first at-bat.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like
That's
that
a good one. I read an article over the weekend that said, why McGonigal can make this team. He's not making this team unless there's some injury or he hits 1,000. He's not making this team, nor should he. And I mean that. Like, nobody wants to.
There's no reason to rush him,
No, it's not even being rushed. It's not that, because I have no problem. I don't believe in that stuff. If a guy rises through the minor leagues, then great. And he gets the necessary at bats, but he's proven to anybody who would listen that this is a guy who can, based on his play, he can get it done. Okay, fine. How many at bats has he had even in Double-A? Okay. Those are the things that you have to keep in mind. This is what, whether we like it or not, this is what people in baseball use as a reference point. It's not always necessarily fair, but this is oftentimes what they use. And I'm not telling you he's got to have 1,500 at-bats in the minor leagues. No, I don't believe in that. All right. I think it helps. It does. And I've given you examples on why. I want you to think about this for a minute. He hit 254 at Double-A. Okay. He had 169 at bats at Erie, and he hit 254. Now ask yourself, and he hit some good power production too. That's not what he's necessarily known for. He hit 254 at Double-A. Does that tell you right away that this guy is ready for the big leagues? If you didn't know who he was, if you didn't know about all the hype associated with him in terms of, Detroit and all the things that we've read and all that other stuff, would you think that person deserves to be brought up? My guess is most people would say no. Okay? Most people would say no way. And the reason I say that is because of this. Jace Young was all we heard was, oh, Jace Young this, Jace Young that, right? Remember? I want to see Jace Young at third base. Do you remember those days? It was just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I do. During the playoff run too.
Okay. He had roughly the same amount of at-bats at Erie as Kevin McGonigal. All right. He had more homers and a better batting average at 284. Copy that?
Yeah.
Okay. It's okay to let a young guy like this, even though he's viewed as the number one prospect in all of baseball, it's okay for this guy to get his feet wet a little bit. Even if he doesn't go to AAA. I don't care. I just want some more at-bats for him to get comfortable. Because in the majors, he's not going to play every day. And I want this kid, especially against lefties, I want this kid, when he comes up to the majors, to be in the lineup every single day. He is not going to make this team out of spring training, nor should he. So that's one hero. I get the whole hype, and I get that, you love that he hit his first pitch right back up the middle. That's great. Okay. What about Max Anderson? He had a 2-run single too. Anyway, Heel, how many times will they write about putzing, but never mention or question Shepard? They're doing it again. They think it's injuries and will run it again and sign their own.
You know what? I love that because
he's talking about the Lions.
Yeah,
of course,
Kelvin Shepard.
Kelvin Shepard, right. So they're writing a lot about Drew Petzing and why he's the perfect fit now, because they've had a chance to interview him and they've had a chance to talk with members of the Lions front office, and they are being spoon-fed a lot of things that verify and validate why Drew Petzing should be the OC. Where is the article? What does Kelvin Shepard have to do to make himself a better defensive coordinator? In fairness to any of the writers out there, there's still plenty of time for that. Will we see it? That's the question. But those are two interesting, hero and heel. I like that. Thank you very much for that. Go ahead. Another text. Fire away.
Why is it so hard for Tigers fans to just accept the team that's ready to play now? And actually, I love that text because it's exactly right. It's like the Tigers are good. There's no reason to. This is not 2017. There's no reason to look ahead at your farm system and all this stuff.
Here's why. Here's why I believe this is the case. I could be wrong. First of all, you view your team with the best pitcher in baseball. You also view that you just signed the best free agent pitcher in baseball. And you also helped your back end of your bullpen with one of the best all-time closers in baseball history. And there was another need there that wasn't addressed. And because you didn't, some people feel like you're missing an opportunity. Your offense, when you look at it, I think Baltimore's got a better offense. I think Seattle's got a better offense. I think Toronto's got a better offense as of right now. And I think the Yankees have a better offense. And that's okay, by the way. If you're top half in the American League in offense, but you got the best pitching staff, then you're in pretty good shape.
Yep.
The problem is, this is just my opinion. I said it a year ago, and people just rolled their eyes and collectively shook their head and overlooked it. Their defense isn't very good.
Especially
I said it a year ago,
yeah.
And I'm going to say it again this year. They have not done anything to address their poor defense, specifically their infield.
Yep.
I think center field is outstanding. I think left field's outstanding. I think right field's a mess. I think their infield in general is not very good, except behind the plate.
And you can get away with right field being a mess. You can.
Sure. I mean, good teams, what they do is they take their right fielder and they make him a full-time DH. Hi, Philadelphia. That's what they do. Final results of the poll question. I just think it's important we keep this in mind. While we think Kevin McGonigal and Max Clark are the be-all, end-all, all right? And I hope they are too. Don't get me wrong. I hope they're really good. I hope when they come up, they take off and they never look back. That's exactly what everybody in Detroit would love them to do. I'm just telling you, at some point, everybody gets a test. And at some point, you're going to evaluate the person taking the test. And I don't know what's important to you. Home runs, RBIs, batting average, on base, whatever. I'm just trying to remind you that as good as Max Clark and Kevin McGonigal are, and I think they're going to be very good in time, Max Clark hit 251 last year in Double-A. In 171 at-bats, he hit 251 at Double-A. Jace Young, back in 2023, and it's not like this is back in the Mickey Lolich days. Jace Young, while in Erie in 2023, hit 284 with 183 at-bats. It's a fair sample size. And Kevin McGonigal, who, again, I'm not going to say isn't good. That's not where I'm going with any of this. I'm asking you to try your best to understand why the Tigers would want him to marinate a little bit in 169 at-bats, so just a few less, hit 254. It's worth acknowledging. That's all. Another text. Go ahead.
Yeah, this one's actually a comment from our YouTube stream. You can comment when we stream live. You can always comment. We'll read them. This says, why do teams stop going at an opponent's best player when they have 4 fouls? Both MSU and U of M went on runs with Boozer out of the game. He checked back in, and they stopped attacking him.
Great question. Excellent question. Matchups? You try to run certain plays for certain players that might have worked while the guy was sitting out. But I agree with you. Go at him and foul his ass out of the game.
Why not? Why not?
Especially since him. Now, I don't know exactly what his defensive responsibilities would be when he received the 4th foul. John Shire would know that better than me. Maybe he switched on somebody else. If you have somebody out there who he's matched up against, you should feed him anyway, because that player should be able to score, shouldn't they? I would hope so. I agree with you. It's kind of like football. If they can't stop the run, are you going to start throwing the football? Keep running it down their throat. Final results of the poll question. That's an excellent question, and thanks for joining us on the stream. Our poll question from the other day, is Cade Cunningham the MVP? Yes or no?
92% yes. No surprise there. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And that's not being a homer, by the way.
No, not at all.
How was your daily wager brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort?
Well, it missed because I took the Michigan and Duke over. I don't know. I don't exactly remember what the number was, but
it was a lower scoring game than I thought it was.
Yeah, for sure. And then tonight, I mean, I'll take Victor Wembanyama's over under for rebounds against the Pistons tonight is 10.5. I will take the under. I think Jalen Duren's back, and I think that the Pistons win, but I'm going to stay away from that in and of itself. I just think the Pistons bigs handle Victor Wembanyama. He has an 8 or 9 rebound game, not a 12 rebound game.
Okay, you're asking a lot from Paul Reed and Jalen Duren. Fair enough. Okay, we'll have the results for you tomorrow, including our Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question, which is which Michigander USA hockey player is your MVP of the Olympics? Hellebuck, Keller, Hughes, Quinn Hughes, or other. Vote as often as you want at XB Mornings. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, here on X's and Bros. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks for some of the time